Is it not time for Niger to take control of its own resources and assert its independence from historical colonial powers? Niger's recent bold decision to revoke the operating license of the French nuclear fuel producer Orano at one of the world's largest uranium mines, the Uranium site, marks a pivotal moment in its journey toward reclaiming control over its natural resources and redefining its relationship with former colonial powers, especially France. This move, ordered on a Thursday, reflects Niger's determination to assert its sovereignty over its valuable uranium reserves, which have been historically dominated by French interests. Before proceeding with the video, subscribe to the African Web channel and ring the bell icon to be notified about news regarding Africa and more. The Uranium mine in northern Niger is a huge deal, holding around 200,000 tons of uranium. This mine used to send 90% of its uranium to France, showing how vital it was for the French nuclear industry. But things changed when Niger's Ministry of Mining told Orano, once called Arriva, that their license would be cancelled if they didn't start major development by June 19. This came after a military coup last year. Niger's new military government wants to take back control of its resources, following a trend in Africa for more independence and fairer deals. Cancelling Orano's license is a big move to break away from relying on France. For a long time, France's state-owned nuclear company, Orano, has been a major player in Niger's uranium business. About 15% of France's uranium comes from Niger, with the Samer mine supplying over 90% of Niger's uranium exports to France by 2021. Orano also has other mining sites in Niger, showing just how involved France is in Niger's uranium industry. The 2023 coup turned things upside down in Niger. The new leaders were fed up with the unfair economic relationship with France. They decided to stop uranium exports and took away Orano's permit for the Uranium project, believing it wasn't benefiting Niger. In Niger, there's a growing feeling that its partnership with France is unfair. Mohamed Lawan Gaya, a former Nigerian energy minister, pointed out the big gap in benefits from uranium exports. While Niger sent billions worth of uranium to France, the returns to Niger were very small, hurting its economic growth. The junta's move to rethink its ties with France isn't just about fairness. It's also about gaining strategic control. By renegotiating terms and looking for new economic partners, Niger hopes to strengthen its position in the global uranium market. This is part of a larger trend in Africa, where countries rich in resources want more control and better deals with international partners. This is a big problem for France, which relies heavily on Niger for uranium. If Niger cuts its uranium exports, it could disrupt France's nuclear industry. This shows how much power countries like Niger can have in their economic relationships. For Niger, this is a chance to stand out globally, diversify its economic partners, and make sure its natural resources benefit its own development. The government's warning to Orano was necessary. Even though Orano claimed to restart operations at the Uranium site, the government's decision to revoke the license shows it's serious about protecting national interests and making sure foreign companies follow the rules. Niger's timing in revoking Orano's license and cutting ties with France marks a big shift in its diplomatic and economic strategy. The military coup led to strained relations with France and prompted Niger's military junta to take bold steps to assert more control and reshape its international partnerships. Since the coup, Niger's military government has systematically reduced French influence. They expelled French diplomats, revoked Ambassador Sylvain Itté's immunity, and ordered his departure. The junta aims to realign Niger's foreign policy away from France. They closed French military bases, showing a commitment to handle security challenges independently amid rising violence in the region. Niger is also rethinking its economic ties, especially in mining, historically dominated by France. By revoking Orano's license and considering Russian partnerships, Niger seeks to diversify its economic alliances and reduce reliance on colonial ties. At the core of Niger's actions is the desire to reclaim control over its uranium resources. Former Energy Minister Mohamed Lawan Gaya pointed out that while Niger exports a lot of uranium to France, it gets very little in return, sparking demands for economic justice. Niger is partnering with Russia and Iran to diversify its international alliances. Russian interest in Niger's uranium and growing business ties could bring new economic and strategic benefits. This shift raises questions about its impact on regional dynamics and global power balances. The military government is addressing security issues worsened by jihadist threats and regional instability. By adjusting security partnerships, Niger aims to tackle these challenges independently without foreign military support. France and Niger have had a close alliance centered on uranium since Niger's independence in 1960. France's continued influence, stemming from its colonial past, has created a strategic yet complex relationship with both benefits and significant inequalities. Niger's decision to sever ties with France signifies a significant departure from their long-standing alliance, reflecting deep discontent within Niger. The partnership, centered around uranium, has historically favored France, leading to economic exploitation of Niger's resources. Efforts by Nigerian leaders to renegotiate these terms have often led to severe consequences. In 1974, President Hamani Diori was ousted with French support after advocating for fairer compensation for uranium. This underscores France's influence in Niger, prioritizing its economic interests over Nigerian sovereignty and democratic governance. Uranium mining in Niger has not significantly improved the lives of its people. Corruption and environmental mismanagement, including improper disposal of 20 million tons of radioactive waste, have harmed local communities. This imbalance means Niger suffers environmental costs while gaining little economically. Mining disrupts ecosystems, worsens water scarcity, and exposes workers and nearby residents to health risks like cancers and birth defects. Frantafrique still shapes Niger's ties with France, portraying France as prioritizing its interests over Niger's sovereignty. To enhance independence, Niger must strengthen security forces against insurgents and address root causes like poverty and unemployment. Niger must strengthen its security forces and form stronger partnerships with neighboring countries to combat shared threats effectively. Collaborative border security, sharing intelligence, and joint operations can bolster efforts against transnational challenges. Niger should also seek alliances with global organizations and diverse international partners to diversify its security support and reduce reliance on any single foreign entity. In diplomacy, Niger should adopt a balanced approach by engaging a wide array of global partners. Broadening diplomatic ties and attracting investments from various sources can mitigate risks linked to dependency on former colonial powers. Building relationships with emerging economies and regional leaders offers new paths for economic growth and strategic cooperation. Furthermore, Niger needs governance reforms to enhance institutions, transparency, and fight corruption. Equitably distributing benefits from resource extraction is crucial for social stability and sustainable progress. Implementing policies that foster local economic growth, environmental protection, and social well-being is essential. How can Niger ensure sustainable development and economic independence? Join the discussion below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web channel for insights on Africa's path to self-sufficiency.